Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living in Redding, California. And we know when the bell rings, because we're online with YouTube and all that, it is exactly at 10 a.m. So we stand up here, we're in anticipation, waiting for Lindy to go. We're on. So anyway, welcome. And today's opening song, we're going to have Dalton. We have a recording for Dalton. He wasn't able to be here today. He was hoping to be here, but things happened and he can't be here. So we wish Dalton well, and just imagine Dalton singing when you listen to this.
Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace which passeth understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. A field of love, a field of forgiveness, a peace which passeth understanding. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong, there's a field. I'll meet you there. There's a field. I'll meet you there.
Thank you, Dalton. It's one of my favorite songs, and welcome to our field. Here we are. So we're going to invite the children up, and we'll do the face of God, and then we'll get on with the rest of the service. So just a reminder for those online and for those here that our children's program is back open. And so we're doing it with all the protection that we can possibly do. And so Bonnie is doing a great job with working with teachers and having a good program every week. So encourage you to take advantage of it. So I'm Charlie Bourne. I'm the practitioner today. And serving with me is Dr. Mary Mitchell, and we're both available for prayer support after service. Reverend Sue will give our talk today on G.P.S, Guidance Positioning System. So we'll have to see what that's all about. And so just if there's anybody new today and you would like to know more about the center, if you raise your hand, we'll bring a packet to you. And if not, if anyone wants to pick up a packet, you can get one at the door on the way out from one of the ushers. And our board member today is Jill. She's back there, and she can answer any questions that you may have about events or anything from the announcements. So if you could, maybe silence your phones or other devices that may go off during the service. We appreciate that. I'll have to check mine. But anyway, we're going to go into a few focus announcements. And so there is an ongoing used book sale. It's before and after service, so you can go to the social hall afterwards and check that out. And also, we do now have some refreshments in the social hall after service. It's a wonderful place to visit and see people. I think we have coffee and cookies and snacks and so forth. So you can check out the book sale. Also, the men's group, just a reminder, with Roy Wolstad, Monday, August 23rd from 7 to 9 p.m. It's in the conference room and also online via Zoom. And you can check with Jill or Lori at the office or with Roy about getting the information for that. We also have Awareness Folding Day. It's our newsletter that goes out, and we do encourage help to someone come in and help fold the awareness, and it's kind of a fun activity to sit and fold those, and it goes pretty quick, and then they go off to the post office. And then we're going to be celebrating Dalton Fitzgerald on Sunday, August 29th after the service. He's made a decision to let go of the leadership role here with the choir and as our acting music director. So we want to wish him well on his pursuit and his dreams, as they unfold. Dalton will still be with us, performing from time to time. So he's still very much a part of our center, but we want to celebrate him for all that he's done, especially this past year during the pandemic and showing up and doing the music when the place was empty. But he was there at the piano and providing the music. So, and then we have a parking lot sale coming up again. And I think Diana's ready to get up and give a brief announcement. And she's going to do it with gusto. Yes.
Good morning, everybody. I actually have two wonderful events coming up in September that I would like to inform you about. The first is Rumi's Caravan. It is a magical performance that takes place here right on this stage of incredible performers that memorize poetry, and they're storytellers. And they will be coming on September 11th. We'll have a social hour between 6 and 7. They will perform between 7 and 9, and they recite magical poetry. I really encourage you all to come, and again, we'll be taking all of the precautions that we can to keep everyone safe with doors open, as you would see the facility today. So thank you for considering putting that on your calendar. And the second event that happens in September is that the center is beginning to gear up for the return of our annual Rummage and Collectibles sale. We skipped last year. It is a wonderful event for the community and a major fundraiser for our center. The actual sale dates are September 17th and 18th, but we will begin to receive your donations on the Sunday before, which is September 12th. And we will be transforming this sanctuary into a gigantic store for those 2 days. So are requesting your participation in that with your gently used donations. Go through your stuff and get them ready to bring by starting the 12th. And also your participation here in helping us price it and set up our store. And if you'd like to work the sale on the 17th and 18th, that would be wonderful too. We have sign-up sheets in the foyer for all the things that we need. You can peruse those, and I'll be around if you have any questions. So thank you.
And I would add about the parking lot sale that it's very, very community building, because when we all show up together, we think, oh, wow, this can be a lot of work, but it's really a lot of fun. And so we do a lot of laughing and trying to figure out how to move this and move that, and it's pretty fun. So I forgot to mention that we like to turn and wave to the camera so everybody online can see us. And we can't see them unless we go, but anyway. Hello.
Get those arms away.
If you have a sore shoulder, just smile. Anyway, thank you for participating in that. So now we're going to move on to the rest of our service. I'm going to invite Craig Boyer to come up and do the reading, and then we'll invite the bell, and you can contemplate during the invitation of the bell to go a little deeper, and then we'll do a prayer, and then we'll have our talk by Reverend Sue.
Now, we've all heard G.P.S, and most of us knows that it stands for Global Positioning System or Guidance Positioning System. But for the purposes of Reverend Sue's talk this morning, G.P.S stands for God's Positioning System. In the words of Kathy Sharmer of CSL Peninsula, she says, "It's the connection to the divine spirit, to the God within that keeps us on track in our lives. And sometimes the God positioning system also needs to recalculate the route and lead us in a new direction where we can better hear the call, because we need a clear signal to act according to the divine principle of love. And surrounding ourselves with people that do not demonstrate their own inner light makes it harder to hear our own divine voice. So take time to see if you need to recalculate the route in your life. And in the words of Earnest Holmes, we are in partnership with the infinite mind, the supreme intelligence, the universal creative order, and the all-perfect presence. This is God, our partner, our source, and our life. Throw yourself with complete abandonment and acceptance into its soft embrace. For it is closer to you than the very breath, and nearer to you than your hands and your feet. It is right where you are. And in the words of that great inventor, Thomas Edison, this world is ruled by infinite intelligence. Everything that surrounds us, everything that exists, proves that there are infinite laws behind it. There can be no denying this fact. It is mathematical in its precision. And soon Reverend Sue will share with us the lessons of our own personal G.P.S.
Please join with me in this moment of reflection. A moment of reflection upon this center and what it represents, the love, the inspiration, the healing that has gone on before and continues to go on in this community and in this center. And so I recognize that there is just one love, one God, one power, everywhere present, flowing in and through each and every one of us, individually expressed, but expressed as the one. So today I anchor down into this sense of knowing, this deep understanding, knowing that God is here always with us at the deepest level. And so I allow the nudge and the urge that's deep within me to grow and to listen deeply and to be all that I can be. And today I awaken and allow myself to hear the words of Reverend Sue as she shares her heart and her wisdom that comes through her G.P.S. For today we are meeting together in the field, a field of love and a field of gratitude. So giving thanks for today and for this service and for spirit, I release these words and this prayer into law, knowing full well it is so. And together we say, and so it is. Reverend Sue.
Thank you, Judy. Hello. I'm back from a little travel. That we certainly did use our GPS for our travel, and it's good to be back. And I appreciate Reverend Andy and Reverend Kay covering, and Reverend Mary covering also for the platform, and that all of you are here today. And so GPS, several things I want to try to share and articulate. I had to kind of look at I need to look at my notes here on the GPS and the global positioning system. And it's interesting that there's 3 parts to it. I don't know if you knew that. I just thought it worked. That's a girl way. Sorry, girls. Sorry, women, to diminish us. But I just thought, oh, magic. Anyway, there's a space segment, and that consists of a nominal constellation of 24 operating satellites that transmit one-way signals that give the current GPS satellite position and time. Then there's a control segment. The control segment consists of worldwide monitor and control stations that maintain the satellites in their proper orbits through occasional command maneuvers and adjust the satellite clocks. It tracks the GPS satellites, uploads updated navigational data, and maintains health and status of the satellite constellation. Now we have the third part, the user segment. That's us, and that consists of us, the GPS receiver, and we have equipment that receives the signal from the satellites and uses the transmitted information to calculate the user's 3-dimensional position and time. Does it blow you away that happens? That we have this system out there in our universe that is helping us find our way? And there's also a system in the entire universe that's helping each one of us find our divine way. And that's where this starts to blend into this idea that we're covering this month on the pause for guidance. And this is called the guidance positioning system in one term here. And we're asked in this entire month to take a pause, to rest, to rejuvenate ourselves, to prepare for the next leg of our journey. Now, we've been modeling that since we were young children, right? We always had, oh, great, summer vacation. Yay, summer vacation, time to reset, rejuvenate. Many of us get trapped into our working world, and we forget to take our vacations. We forget to reset ourselves. And those of us that are retired start to busy our lives, and we don't take the time to reset. But this idea of preparing for ourselves, always giving ourselves some time to welcome joy into our experience, to welcome the sense of who am I, and working to discover again the authenticity of our deep being, and also a time to touch the vulnerability of our life experience. Now when this COVID experience started, we didn't know what we were doing, and then we've got more skillful with maneuvering our way around it, and then we thought it was going to go away, and now it's coming back in a different form. So here we are, looking at our vulnerability again, and looking at the wise ways that we can take care of one another. So it's another opportunity to evolve our thinking. Now, added to that, we have the tragedies of Haiti, we have the series of events going on in Afghanistan, and then we have our own personal experiences in our own smaller world. All of these opportunities to evolve our thinking if we can just get out of our own way and allow ourselves time to reset to that divine knowing. So we pause, this is the Science of Mind point of view, pause for the guidance and become conscious of the still small voice inside that is providing the true guidance in our lives. For we only hear that which we are conscious of. And there is that law of correspondence that provides us the ability to receive. And as we receive through this divine instrument of our being, which I'll talk more about, we are able to give. And we will want the circuits of this divine knowing, of this system of guidance, to move through a pure channel, to not get chaotic patterns of confusion by going through our brain area alone. We want this experience to drop to our heart, to that brain within us, that within the heart space of us that knows compassion and forgiveness. And so here is where we are going to adjust our personal satellite to this knowing. So that which we believe we can receive, it's our expansion of our consciousness that permits more and more of the good stuff of life to be experienced. Now, I'm going to share with you some personal information here. It relates to a lot of you as well. Twyla Cooley was a very close friend of mine, and she made her transition this past Friday. She taught me a lot. She taught me a lot about following guidance, about listening to the deep inner wisdom, to follow her heart. Now I originally met Twyla. She made a transition into our center coming from Unity. She wanted to study some more and some different aspects of New Thought teaching, and she became very invested here. She became a practitioner here, and then she went with Reverend Diana Johnson over to the Mystic Heart as her another leg of her journey and evolving into her true self. But it led her back, as she followed guidance, to Unity, and that's where she became really invested and centered in her deepest knowing. And so she rested between Unity, and she visited us here, and she always made a point to say hello and to give an embrace and to touch each one of us that she was able to see in those visits. So I visited over the last couple of months knowing that she was meeting her transition. She knew it. And we never quite knew what it was. She never really got the diagnosis. It's just that she was told that she didn't have very much longer. But she knew that she was ready to meet this final transition on her spiritual journey. She was very clear and she was very prepared. And some of you can remember, some of you joined her beautiful classes that she did on what is this afterlife. She awakened a lot of people to that. And I was able to share with her the testimony of many people that came to me and said, I really appreciate that I had that class with Twyla because I'm not afraid of dying. Twyla helped me be courageous and to see the possibilities of what an afterlife might look like. And so in that field, Twyla was very bold and very honest. She was following her own G.P.S. Now, 2 weeks ago, after her final heart experience with the love of her life, she knew she was complete 2 weeks ago. She told Reverend Carolyn from Unity, I will be gone in 2 weeks now. I feel complete. And to the day, she was. Exactly 2 weeks. And so Reverend Carolyn and I are left with Twyla's powerful testimony about listening to guidance. Now, there's a minister in the organization named Reverend Cynthia James, and she does a lot of work, and she recently presented in a ministerial conference. And she talked about the G.P.S. So in this talk, the CSL organization called it Guidance Positioning System, but Reverend Cynthia calls it the God-powered system, the God-powered system that dwells within each one of us. And our body is always transmitting these signals. We have the most divinely tuned instrument of creation. The energy systems that we hear of in science, this all plays into the electromagnetic field that we exist in. And our physiology is based on the chemistries and the transmissions of these signals and these codes in which our body is divinely in tune with. Our body knows when we need to stop and recalculate route. We know that. We know that voice, however it comes to you. We know that when we have missed something, we know. And there is that internal voice that is speaking instantly. But oftentimes, as we continue with our busy lives, we tune it out. The other radios going on inside of us, their frequencies are turned up too high, and so we miss the message, as subtle as they can be. Jean Houston wrote in A Passion for the Possible, she writes, no matter what culture or upbringing you have had, you will find the means and the methods to lead you to the source. That these excursions into the interior being help you discover a path that is authentically yours, or connect more deeply with the path you have already inherited or chosen. She says it in this way: reconnecting to the source does not need to be a mysterious process. Her everyday example was in trying to renew and update the access codes on the receiver of her home satellite dish. If she had not installed the codes, the hundreds of TV stations moving through the airwaves would be blocked, and she would have only received 7 channels. So she extends this parallel to each one of us, reminding us, each one of us, that we have the access codes to the many stations of our being. We have that innately built within us. It's in our DNA. Our tendency is to forget to update them and to tune ourselves day after day to the same old programs. Can you relate to that? It's the habit, it's the ruts, it's our go-to place. We can be so longing to express ourselves in a new and more spiritual kind way, and yet we get caught, and before we know it, old patterns are spewing from our expressions. So our tendency is to forget to update them and tune ourselves day after day to those same old programs, and yet the reality waves that move through us are filled with extraordinary stories and ideas. They connect us to the ultimate program, the ultimate divine. When we renew our codes, the static will clear. we will get clear messages from the divine source, and we are retuned and coded for a life that we are meant to live. That's words from Jean Houston's book. Now, so I was sharing that Charlie and I recently traveled, and we rely on the GPS, sometimes even if we know which way we're going, but it helps us keep on course. And sometimes we're using the phone, and sometimes we put it on the car. And that's such an interesting experience, because then we imagine that the two systems are arguing. Their voices escalate. And we feel like, oh, isn't she have an attitude now that we know we're using this one? And we just get so caught in the humor of their voices. And then we, as obstinate as we are, will go off course on purpose. Or by accident, we could miss a turn. But it's pure amusement just to listen to those. And the idea that one seems to be getting tense and more aggressive in her delivery. But that's how sometimes the messages come to us. Maybe it was very subtle, one still small voice was beckoning you to a new way of taking care of yourself, but you didn't listen. You clogged the airwaves. And so the situations around you, they can get a little more tense. So to our surprise, and this is, actually, I don't care about the rest of the talk. I just couldn't wait to share this little piece with you, and it means nothing to the talk. But we were going through the streets of Portland, and we had gone multiple turns and directions, left to right, and stay in the middle, don't be in that lane, and all of this stuff, just trying to merge into the right place. And then suddenly she declares, "Warning, red light camera ahead." I say, "What?" And Charlie goes, "What'd she say?" And I said, "Right there it is, red light warning camera." Did you guys know that? Oh, you did? Some of you did? I didn't know that. So now I'm thinking, I'm going to start using my GPS through town. I want to see if it works in every part of the territories. Red light camera ahead. So we were dumbfounded in that moment, but sure enough, there it was just a few feet away. And I thought, I can't wait to tell the crowd back home about this. And so sometimes we deliberately do miss the turn of advice, and we are quickly rerouted. And so then, as we imagine her voice getting more bossy and more annoyed with us, less gentle, we mess with her even a little bit more in our arrogance. And ultimately, then, unfortunately, we are really turned around by then. And we have to humble ourselves and follow the guidance. Has that happened on your journey? You knew what you were supposed to do, but you weren't humble enough to follow the guidance. And so it's best to start right there when you start to hear that voice. It is gentle in its guidance, and we can be very stubborn and ignore it. And then we ultimately have to flip back, backtrack in life, and get back in what we know is the flow. So there's this emotional integration that links us to the physical being of who we are. And we're asked always, how do we do this? Well, we listen, and we notice, and we respond. Awareness and knowledge. This is where the attention is being drawn to, and then we must engage with it. Now, you might be familiar with the terms of the chakra systems, but this is exactly what the G.P.S. is operating through. Each one of us has these different centers, and they classify them into 7 different centers. And each center has a main goal in operating its system through you. So that at the crown, we have this divine inspiration and wisdom. And then there is, when we drop into the third eye area, they've called it, there's a place of wisdom, intuition there. And then that drops to the throat, where we have the chance to listen as well as speak a truth. It drops to the heart, where we have the distilling of compassion and forgiveness and love. and then it can drop to the gut level where we have the opportunity to feel our self-esteem and our power. It can drop lower into the second chakra where it starts to be the creator of new ideas and our energy. And then it can drop to the very root, the very first chakra, which is our family, our rootedness, our genetics. All of these systems work together, but it is ours to keep the channels open. So with this relay station that's going on, the relay station operates on truth. Each center is also affecting every organ in your body, every gland. Now, your skin is an organ. It's the largest organ of your body. Your bones, all of the feelings that we get will have to pass through these organs of our being. Feelings and emotions, you usually can find the first touch of it through what is brushing your skin. It can give you tickles. You can have a quickening of the heart space. You can feel it. Overall, this is also intuition and instinct. When our skin is sensing, when it tickles or prickles, we have a felt sense going on through our thoughts and our feelings. These are windows to our awakening. So guidance, if you stay present with that, with all of those feelings, and not get looped in the story around it that can cause us grief. Again, as Jean Houston said, as we try to avoid tuning ourselves into the old programs, but see what is now. What is the spiritual guidance now directing me to do as I use the love and the light that dwells within me to guide me into the best direction possible? So how do we know the difference between spiritual guidance and ego trying to just control it all, to have the certainty or to be power over? We are driven by conditioning and expectations, but there is truly a divine grace that is pulling us through every setback, every frustration, encouraging us to wake up, to be more compassionate, more forgiving, more loving, and you know it in your heart. And we get so stubborn. We get so stubborn when it comes up to something and I think, well, I think I've done enough forgiveness on that, but I know I haven't, or it wouldn't be charging me again. And I think, I don't want to. I can feel myself whine because I don't want to meet that again. But the still small voice is saying, go deeper. As Dalton's song, go into that field where we meet as one. The soul's compass, as I referenced, is your heart. That's where wisdom is directing you to. And how do we trust that? Let me read you the story of the Hymn of the Pearl. And this comes from Job Porzinko's book, The Soul's Compass. So this is about the hero tale of a young prince whose absolute delight, he was the absolute delight of his parents, the king of the east and the queen of the dawn. The prince is lovingly outfitted with provisions and set off on the voyage to Egypt. His task, a classic ordeal of the archetypal hero's journey, to find the one pearl that lies in the sea next to the loud-breathing serpent. Upon his return with the hard-won prize, he'll become heir to the parent's kingdom. He makes this arduous journey to Egypt, settles down near the serpent's lair, hoping to snatch the pearl when that awful beast lies sleeping. In the meantime, he puts on the Egyptian clothes so not to look so suspicious. And the locals give him food, and as soon as he eats it, he forgets all about the fact that he's the king's son, loses all memory of the pearl, and sinks into a deep sleep. Meanwhile, the parents are anxiously perceiving what's happening from afar and are beside themselves with worry. They write a magical letter to arouse the prince from his sleep and remind him who he is and the purpose of his journey, which is to get the pearl, return home, take his place in the kingdom as the noble one who can rule with wisdom and compassion. The letter takes the form of the eagle, flies to the sun, and speaks the message of the truth. At the sound of its wings thrumming and its beautiful voice, the young prince awakens and remembers who he really is. He realizes that the words of the letter are already written in his heart, within him as his true nature, and he heeds the guidance. At once he charms the serpent, snatches the pearl, strips off the clothing, and returns home. The magic letter guides him with its love, and at the journey's end, the prince has matured. He has found the pearl beyond price, his own divine nature, and the childish aspects of false identity are gone. Now he is ready to be the wise leader. We have that pearl. We have that guidance already. All of the messages that we need to lead a noble life, a spiritual life, are written in our heart. Let us not get trapped in tunnel vision and the narrow paths that squeeze our heart, that constrict our being. The invitation is to always move towards spiritual wholeness. Now, it can feel very challenging because the G.P.S. is not, this G.P.S. that I'm speaking of is not universal. It's individualized. We have to tune in to the voice, to the letter, to the call of what brings us home. So when you recognize how valuable we get to see testimony of this, when the salmon return home, when the hummingbird returns to its homeland, there's this wisdom. There's a way that we recognize that there's a mystery out there and we're a part of it, and it's looking for us as we're looking for it. It has a magnetic pull that is lining up, and it has a compass. The compass of our heart is always pointing to true north. It will always lead us to the right way. Now, in the knowing that migratory birds, they have this small magnetite, little micromagnet chips embedded in their brains. Did you know that? Okay. It's a guidance system hardwired within them for precision. I think that's fascinating. It's hardwired in them. And so what's hardwired in us is the same deep truth, a principle, a sense of our heart knows which way to turn through spiritual practice, mindfulness, living present moment, tuning in, discovering the sensations of our being, and listening. They're all meaningful. So if you start being dragged into the past with regrets or worrying about the future, you're not here now. Our heart is our center. Our alignment is here with love, with Source. Just as a bird can be thrown off course by a stronger load of iron upon the ground, so can we be thrown off sometimes by a current of fear that overrides everything. Worry, fear, you name it. It could be any of the 7 deadly sins, actually. Pride, sloth, judgment, stubbornness. Everything can block us and keep us off course. But there's a distant soul call. I love it, the idea of a divine knowing so lovingly beckoning me to come home. We can be stubborn and we can be obstinate. And we can end up lost again, but it's always there. So Joan Barasinko, as I close, says this: mysticism means direct communion with the sacred, beyond any kind of dogma or doctrine. Okay? It's beyond doctrine and dogma. Regardless of whether you believe in God, in a source of wisdom, or simply believe in the possibility of wholeness, the experience of universal love and compassion is the same. Our heart knows that. It's life's most evident delight and the true hope of our species. It is the true hope of our species. Universal love and compassion. It's what we all discover regardless of creed. When we touch the mystic heart, follow its guidance, we encounter this goodness. We recognize our true identity as unique and meaningful, as a part of life. So, as you go into your week, start to explore that felt sense. Get out of your head and try to experience and explore this inner nature. Ask more questions. Instead of just looking at what is as it is, ask deeper. And what are you here to tell me? And why is this before me now? This idea of all the signs and the dreams and the messengers of truth are always coming your way for you to decipher. All the synchronicities of life to experience that. They give us a thrill. They give us a pause in the moment. It's not difficult to spend some time, be silent, and listen for the guidance. Every day when you wake up in the beautiful mornings of the dawn, when you're just waking up, whether you're going to get all the way up or not, set the intention for the day, lay a prayer upon your path, and follow that into maybe getting up or staying into the next set of dreams. But allow the opportunity to prepare yourself. This field of awareness, prayer, breathing, stillness. This beautiful quote by the Sufi, he says, "To the degree to which we are conscious, coherent, and live with pure intention," that's very important, "the more we have intention and devotion, that's the extent to which our life will take on greater and greater aspects of synchronicity. Life itself becomes meaningful to the extent that we are willing and conscious students. The educator of the universe will give us deeper and richer instructions, richer teachings. It all depends on our state. If a human being can be in the state of remembrance, referring back to the master truth of existence, that we live in a spiritual reality, the bottom line is that the inventory of spiritual qualities adds up to great mercy and great generosity. So let us prepare that field with practices from this day forward. Dive deeper into forgiveness. Seek truth. Speak your truth. Practice gratitude. And best of all, surrender. Surrender your way and get into the way of the one, into the flow. So, Judy, I appreciate as we come into closing this into a prayer where our heart recognizes something that Earnest Holmes said in Sermon by the Sea. We have discovered that which the great, the good, and the wise have sung about and thought about, the imprisoned splendor within ourselves and within each other, we have direct contact with it. Earnest Holmes, Sermon by the Sea, takes us home. So in this moment, in this pivotal moment, as we have shared some time together in stillness, we recognize that we are centering ourselves in the oneness, in the wholeness of that oneness. And what is there? Love. Relax in the arms of love. Lean into it. Allow the teachers of your journey to be the totems along your way, that you reach back and feel their grace continuing to inspire you, to motivate you into being a greater idea of yourself, aligned with the principles of divine knowing, of truth, of compassion, of love, and of forgiveness. I give thanks for the information that comes our way, that we download this information and we allow it to outpour gently and easily in the greatest flow that affects all beings. I release the words of this talk into the hearts of each one of you, knowing that you will distill what is yours to know and you will find the guidance. I know that. That's why you show up. I give thanks for that. And I release this now. And so it is. So with that, Reverend Jay posted this small prayer on Facebook, and I wanted to share it with you. It's a prayer for Afghanistan. For those who are fleeing, sanctuary. For those who are staying, safety. For those who are fighting, peace. For those whose hearts are breaking, comfort. And for those who see no future, hope. To the people, to the children, in Afghanistan, in Haiti, in our own country. May all beings be peaceful. May all beings be well. May all beings find their true guidance into wholeness and love. We have spoken this word with confidence and courage. We know that it's so because love is all there is. Thank you, God, and so it is. Judy, thank you. Sure.
So please deeply listen to a wonderful song by Dalton.
Have thine own way, Lord.
Thank you, Dalton. So I'd like to invite the ushers forward. So whether you're online or in the center today, this is an opportunity to provide your support for this center, which is so gratefully received. And every gift is treated with complete integrity and with love. And so I'd like to read an affirmation and have you report, give me a report on it, to repeat afterwards. Gratefully I give with an attitude of abundance. For I know as I give, I do receive. And so it is.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed.
So we are so blessed in this center, and we give incredible thanks for the gifts. Not only the gifts in a monetary form, but the gifts of your heart, the gifts of your tremendous service and your seva, and for the support just in general of keeping this center alive and truly, truly on a path of growth. So we give deep, deep gratitude for everyone as we accept these gifts as they enter the law of circulation and goes back out into the community and to each one of you. So giving great thanks for today and for this welcoming opportunity to receive and to give. I say thank you, and together we say, so it is. So we're going to, just a reminder afterwards, after the service, the bookstore is open. Jill's at the desk. She can answer questions. We have sign-ups for the parking lot sale. You can check out information about Rumi's Caravan. And we have the social hall, so we have a book sale going on there. And Dr. Mary and I are available for support, prayer support. So before we go into our final song, we're going to do our closing affirmation. There is only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. And that life is my life now. So now we set it out for the whole world. Now we've had practice and we've done our report. Okay. There's only one life. That life is God's life. That life is perfect. That life is my life now. And so it is. Thank you. And so we'll have a closing song by Dalton, and just enjoy your afternoon.
I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna lay down my burden down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna give up my judgments down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna give up my judgments down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more, 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 ain't gonna study war no more. I'm gonna walk in forgiveness down by the riverside, down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I'm gonna walk in forgiveness down by the riverside, down by the riverside. I ain't gonna study war no more, 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 ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war, ain't gonna study war no more. I ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more, ain't gonna study war no more.